Well, I guess happy Friday, everybody. I have a big apology to make. I have been kind of MIA. I haven't made any videos or much for posts in a couple of months, pretty much. Just a little bit here or there, sharing some info with, from Emmerich or maybe some Humanifort, but nothing really on myself or some training information, diet, things like that, which I got to get my ass rolling on. Um, it's the holidays were a bit, but before I came down to Texas to spend the holidays with my girlfriend, I got COVID for a couple of weeks, and that really kicked my ass this time. And it had some emotional things. I looked that up online, and the depression and anxiety is actually a thing. I actually have a client that got the same thing. He went on, poor guy went on vacation to Italy and got it, and he said he had the same thing with the anxiety problems, and then for a couple of weeks afterwards, you're still just kind of in a rut. And then kind of out of my element down here, don't have all my stuff, and just kind of trying to learn to navigate life down here. I'm heading back up to Wisconsin tomorrow for a few weeks, and I'll get rolling on some videos, and I'll be a little more in my element while I'm getting ready to move back down to Texas for good. And I ran into some man, just some displacement, some real anxiety and depression, and some of it had to do with the body issues I have. And for some people, might be just starting to follow me or miss this. I'll explain. Is for years I did real heavy construction work, and I used to work like a bull and beat the living shit out of myself. Plus, I was, competitive bodybuilding national level, trying to, go to the big time. And when I was getting up to the super heavyweight status, I lifted too heavy. I didn't know anything about variable resistance back then, or even, if we're going to lift weights, guys, if we're just doing weight training, high volume's the way to go to keep yourself from being beat to shit. Otherwise, if you're going to use high load, we got to use variable resistance. Um, we'll touch base on that a little more, but you know, I I would work a whole day on a in a sawmill as a millwright doing physical labor, and then I would go home and do a leg workout squatting 500 pounds and work shutdowns where I'm working 12 days a week and still training, my doing my regular bench pressing with 400 pounds and barbell rows of 365 and 500-pound squats. And eventually, with the combination of everything, I just, my joints, my hips got so internally rotated, my quad rolled over, and my left shoulder, because of the right hip, my left shoulder and neck were, my spine got pulled down, everything was out of whack. And then 5 years ago, a real doozy, I got in a bad car accident and compacted my side, and it really, it jarred everything so hard. And I ended up with scar tissue all up underneath my shoulder blade. And then I landed on my head and it compacted my neck. Well, I still had my daughter, and I couldn't afford to not work. The doctors gave me some painkillers, and I just went back to the weld shop working in these weird positions, lugging steel and welding in awkward positions, and then still would go to the gym and, lift heavy because it's all I knew to do, I guess. And um, everything got so seized up that I was, my spine had pulled down. And what happens is your psoas muscles that are in the front of your hips are actually connected to your lower spine, pulls the spine down, and then you actually start to get your neck pulls down and everything pulls up like this, and then this shoulder was all messed up, and then my scap, because my shoulder blade, the scar tissue from the impact, my shoulder blade wouldn't go out like it should. So when I did some like pull-ups, I actually pulled my lat. I have a partial tear in my left tricep and the long head, and my shoulder was all rolled forward. My neck, I'm still working stuff out here. And once I started using variable resistance, training with more bands, and then balance work, the pain subsided. But then once I started using the X3 and doing the deadlifts and the front squats and the shoulder presses and things with that, my body actually started fixing itself, and I didn't realize how bad it was. And as my spine started, my hips started straightening out, all this tissue started ripping, and my spine started straightening out, which then starts pushing your neck up. But all this, I had scar tissue clear up underneath the back of my skull, and even my neck, the vertebrae were crooked from trying to push up, and because the left side was tighter. And I've spent the last 2 years um, ripping this shit out, and I talked to Dr. Jaquish the other day and explained to him I've actually had to start doing some of the movements that I used to do that I strained in. I do all my X3 work first, get the muscles hot and full of blood and the connective tissue good and soft, and then um, I'll do some lat pull downs and just do a really slow negative, but then go into a hang and let it stretch. And I pull, and I can feel and hear inside my body. I can hear tissue ripping. And every workout, I straighten out just a little more, and I rip a little more, and all the way around my shoulder blade. Like, no massage therapists have been able to get in there. The only people I can see that could help me are those guys, the chiropractors, the soft tissue chiropractic that uses those big punches with the hammers. I need to see somebody like that to finish it up. My whole spine had scar tissue around all the top vertebrae into my neck, and I've ripped a bunch of that loose, and I'm starting to be able to move again, but everything was just stuck. I was like this. I couldn't turn my head, and this is still the furthest I can turn my head. Everything's, and um, every single workout, I rip a little more loose, and then later that day, that night, I lay in bed, and if I'm on like a foam mattress, when things start to relax, all of a sudden stuff just starts pulling because it moved, and then my neck, I'll rip some shit in my shoulder, and then that'll transfer down to my hip. Everything's connected. Your right hip's connected to the left shoulder, left hip, right shoulder, and then vice versa. With this shoulder then crosses over to the right side of the neck up here. It's all crisscrossed, and I've only been getting anywhere from 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night for months, and it's become very defeating. My girlfriend has seen it, and it really starts to wear you down after a while when you haven't slept but a couple hours a night for a month, and um, it does play a toll on you mentally, which then once you get behind on dopamine. um, for ADHD, I do have a Vyvanse prescription, and if I take a 20 milligram Vyvanse, I'll actually fall asleep. And it's because my dopamine levels are so low, the Vyvanse brings them just to normal where I'll fall asleep. So because I'm so deprived, sleep deprived, and then that causes some depression issues. And it's the weirdest thing, and I know it's because my dopamine's in the tank so bad that that just brings it up to normal, and then I'll pass out. Um, it, and I don't want to take more. I'm prescribed 40 milligrams a day, but I only take 20. So I don't want to take higher doses of stuff. And then um, with my AFib and my heart, I don't want to risk kicking that off. You know, so I'm dealing with that, and but I definitely apologize for not being on top of, posting workouts and things like that. And then I was actually gun shy on making some posts because in the X3 group, which, a lot of people know that I'm one of the coaches in the X3 group. There's five of us. There's Daniel. I'll name them in order of which they rolled in. Daniel was the first one, and then Maykel, and after that, I was one of the coaches, and from there, we got Kevin Chang and Johan. Johan and I have become friends. I really like the guy a lot, and I'm going to start just like he is. I'm going to start putting up my daily workout, with the X3 and my diet and things like that. And, for fun, challenge him to some stuff. And maybe we can help push each other back and forth a bit. And, but, you know, I don't hide the fact that I also train bodybuilders and bikini competitors and things like that. And when somebody's physique, it's very, it's, I don't know, it's saddening, and it's kind of pissed me off. Like, the average person that just starts working out, they got to get with the X3, they just got to get the X3 down, get that rolling for a year or two before they can start branching out, doing more sets or a couple more movements, or even doing some things like pull-ups and dips or things like that, which is fine. But there's these assholes that, because I'll do a couple of different things, try acting as though I have some secret I'm keeping from the group, and that's why my physique's better than theirs. And the thing is one, genetics. Two, um, we train harder than they do. These guys, it's like they try to feel better about themselves because maybe you got some secret that you're keeping behind, and that's why you look like you do and they look like they do. The thing is, these guys don't push themselves. The way you look at the way Johan and I push ourselves. Every workout, we will not settle for less than one more rep or 5 more pounds of force or one more set, and pushing upwards of 400 grams of protein a day consistently, never drinking alcohol, never eating junk food, always in just day after day living it in and out. And that's where the results come. And these jackasses just willy nilly buy an X3 and just go through the motion of pulling on the bands every day and eat okay and sling some beers on the weekends and sometimes miss their workouts, and a year later they don't look like us, and then they try to blame it on something else other than themselves, because that's easier for a weak-minded person to do. And even things like TRT, I'm teaching guys how to responsibly use TRT to get as much out of it as you can but stay healthy, because TRT's been wrongfully prescribed by some places that are just trying to make money on guys and sell more testosterone. And we know that after an 8-week period being on a higher dose, your body just catches it and brings you down to normal levels anyway. So we try to microdose and keep that at an optimal level where you're at the high end of normal, but your body doesn't fight you and your free test stays high and you can continually slowly gain. But I openly admit I take 10 milligrams a day of testosterone, and these guys that know nothing about testosterone, they know nothing, they're complete jackasses, they know nothing, and they think, oh yeah, that TRT, you guys have this advantage. We're at a natural, like the high end of a natural level. It's not really that big of an advantage. It's an advantage over being low, but like steroid cycles, I've done it in the past, and I know other guys, we're talking 1 to 200 milligrams a day. Okay. 10 milligrams compared to 100 milligrams a day is a big fucking difference. Like, we're replacing something that's not there. And we're not going above and beyond into some super physiological doses. We're just trying to be as optimal as we can. And from there, it is eating ridiculous amounts of protein and pushing as much load for as many reps through our muscles as we can, as often as we can, to achieve just steady gains. And that consistency for years, you look back and all of a sudden you put 10, 12, 15, 20 pounds of muscle on. There's all kinds of guys, even that I work with, they can't stick to a training regimen and push themselves day after day, week in and week out, and force themselves, like, you got to man up and put a little extra protein down every day. And some of these guys just don't have it to throw the extra dozen eggs down their throat or whatever. And then they think, oh, I get on TRT and like I'm just magically going to look completely different. And let's say they go on TRT, and in a couple of months they might put on about 5 pounds of muscle, but after that it goes right back to the speed that they were at before. So I, getting piss pounded with basically what we would call, I guess in a lewd term, beta males that can't take credit for their own lack of effort, um, trying to point fingers and say that we're doing some shit that, you know, we're keeping from everybody else. And the thing is, and then, some of my advanced clients, if we're getting ready for a competition and we need to bring the lats up and we got to do some sort of pull ups or something to bring those lats up, and then completely trying to discredit the X3 because we're doing a couple other things. I can't believe the immaturity of these assholes. It's it's unbelievable. If they think that the difference between myself and some of my clients and them is the fact that my clients do some leg curls and some pull-ups, they can kiss my ass. I, look, first you need to put 20, 30 pounds of muscle on through hard work. But when it comes to competing with the body, we got to do what we got to do to get it done. Um, for the average person, the X3 is all they need to look really good. And for even myself, most of my workouts are the X3, and I'm going to start posting my workouts daily now, either pictures or videos, and my diets daily. And maybe I'll start putting some more pictures of my clients up and things like that. I don't want to be one of the post whores that looks like you're just bragging about yourself all the time. Those guys kind of, make me sick because they're trying to, I guess it just seems like trying to self-inflate, like I'm the greatest ever. Um, but I think it's beneficial to see, some average dudes that put an extra 8, 10 pounds of muscle on in a few months and understand that they actually did the work. That's why they got there. So, um, I've been playing with some different protocols, trying to use heavier loads with the X3. And so I'm doing multiple sets and then timing between my sets. So let's say, for example, I do shoulder presses and I'm using the black Paraforce band, and I do sets of 8 or 10, and I'll rest like 90 seconds between. I try to get 8 sets like that. Let's say 8 sets of 8 reps. So then I'm getting 64 reps, you know, with something that I would normally have bottomed out at 15 reps with. And once I reach those full 8 sets, then I knock 30 seconds off. And now I'm doing 1 minute between. And then once I get all 8 sets of 8 with that 1 minute in between, I go to 30 seconds. Once I master that, then I go up in more load. I'll either shorten the band or add a small band or go, jump to the next bigger band, that sort of thing. And then from there, I I put a band on a light amount on the weight stack, and I do some lat pull downs. I do leg curls for the hamstrings. Calves, I do seated X3 calf raises and standing X3 calf raises. And then I do a little bit of dumbbell work. And then the hyperplasia work, I do the stretching. I hang from a pull up bar with some straps for minutes. I grab dumbbells and do hyperplasia stretching for my chest. Um, I use a bar and a Smith machine to stretch my biceps and my front delts, and then some leg stretching and things like that. But um, for my leg training right now, I'm using the Elite Band for the front squats with the X3, and I'm also going to um, after after a few sets of that, I'm going to do the single leg Bosu ball squats, real slow negatives to finish them up, and then blast my hamstrings. Do one set of some leg curls. You can do them with a band, you know. Um, there's a special way you can tie the band off and then loop it a certain way so it's around your ankles and do the curl. And then do RDLs either on the floor or on a Bosu ball. And I might even start doing some single leg RDLs on the Bosu ball. Um, Sometimes that's easier with like a just a moderate kettlebell or something, um, because it's kind of hard with the bands to rig that up right. And for back, you know, the supinated grip row with the X3, um, shrugs. Doing the deadlifts now with the Elite Band finally. It's really pulling some shit out of my back and hips. And then from there, either a banded pull down or a band assisted pull up. And for shoulders, I mostly am just doing the X3 shoulder press, and then maybe some front raises with the X3. Tricep press, I do a cross that's kind of between a close grip bench and a skull crusher with the X3. Um, and then, the X3 chest press. And from there, I do some deep some deep push-ups, and then I'll do like a set of band-assisted dips. The dips, it's a great movement. Um, we can do those. Christ, we can do those things even at home between some chairs or something. Like a tricep bench dip, you can do at a coffee table or a chair. But if as long as I'm in the gym, a lot of times I'll just go grab the dip bars and do it, or a bench or something. And then let's see, I think that just about covers it. I'm doing a little more volume, uh, a few sets. Like I said, I stick with the same band. I don't go till failure. What I do is try to, whether it be 8 or 10 reps, and then try to rest as little as possible between sets. And, depending on the movement, for like the front squat, I'm just going to do 4 sets. Let's say I did 4 sets of 10, and then once I get that mastered, I'll do 4 sets of 12, and I'll do then 4 sets of 14 and 4 sets of 6, that sort of thing. And then if I, until once I, accomplish that, then I'll go up in reps, whatever. And then a couple sets of the single leg Bosu ball squats. You got to do one to kind of acclimate to it, and then I'll just do one all out one. And depending on how strong I get, I'll start using the X3 where I put the band under my foot, and like I would with the split squat. And um, from there, a lot of my clients, they're people that have been using the X3 for a while and they want to take things to the next level. And I got a lot of experience. I got years and years and years of working out and knowledge with, training and testosterone, anabolics, you name it. Um, and then I'm also offering for guys that, you know, a lot of my guys are going to Primal Medical. We're excited about the new oral testosterone. And if you go to joinprimalmedical.net. You can use WAS369 as a discount code and get 10% off for life on whatever you order through Primal. And then through that, you can even get some consultations with me through for your diet and training and things like that quarterly when you get your blood work done. And I'm also offering, a lot of guys call me and, they don't have a couple $1,000 to, get my online coaching. And so I'm offering, like, I will allow, um, not, I guess, shouldn't say allow, sorry, I'm a little tired. Um, I'm going to make it where guys can just purchase single consultations with me, where we get on a phone call and we can talk about anything they want, whether it's their diet, their training, testosterone, diet, all that sort of stuff. Um, and so, because a lot of guys, they might not have a couple grand, but they got $60 in their pocket, and we can jump on a phone call and help them out with that sort of thing. I want to be available to guys in one way or another, you know. Um, but like I said, I apologize for my absence, and I'm looking forward to training hard, and hopefully some of these body issues are gone here pretty soon. I still got a big hard knot of shit in my quad. I got to find somebody to get that out, and then some more stuff in my shoulder and neck right here, and some stuff under my shoulder blade. But it is working its way out slowly. It's such a little amount every day. But it has gotten to feeding because it's just been so tedious. But uh, I guess I look forward to, we're gonna have some more videos cranking out here pretty soon. I'll be posting my meals a lot, just showing people what I eat on a daily basis and keep up to date. Like right now, I'm still doing Emmerich and I's protocol, the 10 milligrams of tescipionate daily with four of our supplements, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. But um, I'm working on getting on the new oral testosterone through Primal. Just give that a try and keep, let guys know how that's going for me. And I guess I got everything out. I appreciate your time tuning into this. If anybody needs anything, get a hold of me. I'm always willing to answer a question here or there. If you need a consult, I'm available for hire for that, and I do have a few spots open for coaching. I don't coach a lot of guys at a time. I don't know how guys can juggle having 50 clients. That's really hard to keep up with, but um, I do have some spots open. So if you're looking for some coaching, get a hold of me, and I guess I'll see you soon. Bye bye.